Good morning, students. During the last classes, we discussed about the periodic classification of element. Before that, we discussed about the atomic structures. So, in the atomic structure, we discussed the behavior of electron, how the electrons are revolving around the nucleus, and how the protons and neutrons are held inside the nucleus. We discussed about the electronic configuration of atoms, that is how the electrons are arranged in different orbitals of the atom. If you discuss in a nutshell, an atom is having a central positive charge at the center. Around it we have the different kind of cells like K, L, M, N, etc. And again each cell is divided into some subcells like S, P, D, F. Again the subcells are consisting of different kind of orbitals. Like our S subcell is not having any orbital, but P subcell is having 3 orbital, Px, Py, Pz. Similarly, D is having 5 orbitals, Dxy, Dxz, Dyz, Dx square minus y square and Dz square. We discuss about the shape of the different orbitals. S orbital we discussed spherical symmetrical in shape, P we discussed dumbbell in shape, and D double dumbbell in shape. We discussed about the Horn's rule, Pauli's principle, alpha principle, where we got the conclusion that in an orbital only 2 electrons are present maximum. Okay, and we discussed that the pairing of electron in different degenerate orbitals like P, D and F is not possible until all the available orbitals contains 1 electron each. We discussed the alpha principles, okay, which says that the orbitals with the lowest energy fills first. So, these principles, these concepts will be highly essential when we are going to study about the new chapter chemical bonding. Okay. So, we must have to focus on Horn's rule, alpha principle, Pauli's principle, okay, and the electronic configuration of different atoms. Okay. Now, next, then after we discuss about the periodic classification of elements, where we discuss about the different properties of elements like ionization energy, electron affinity, electron negativity, valency, oxidation state, and how these properties of elements are changing in a particular period, and how the different kind of properties are remain same in a group, and when we move in a group from top to bottom, how the ionization energy value, electron affinity value, and atomic size is changing, and so also in the periods. Now, the most important things we observed in periodic table is what? We have 18 groups, group 1 to 18. And in the last group called group 0 or group 18, we have the helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon. Group 18. So, here we have seen the NS2NP6. Here NS2NP6 configuration. Helium we have only what 1s2, but in all these cases these elements we have what NS2 and NP6 electronic configuration. So scientists have observed that these elements are not combining with any other kind of atoms, even if they are not forming the diatomic molecules. So because these elements are not combining with any other elements, so these are considered to be the stable elements. So atoms of these elements are considered as what? The stable elements. They are not reactive. Why stable? Because they have the stable electronic configuration. Because what stable electronic configuration. Okay, and due to the stable electronic configuration, they don't want to take any electron from any other atom. So they have the high value of electron affinity. Sorry, they have the zero value of electron affinity. Again, due to the stable electronic configuration, they don't want to give any electron. Hence, they have the high value of ionization energy. So, due to stable electronic configuration, the electron affinity is 0, ionization energy is high. Okay, hence they are not reacting with any other elements and they are the stable atoms. But if we compare to other elements of the periodic table, we know that about 118 elements are there. And if we accept 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, others are there. And almost all compounds are found in the combined state. If you consider elements like hydrogen, chlorine, nitrogen, oxygen, they are found as H as found as H2, Cl as Cl2, O2, N2, F2, and others are found in the form of different kind of compounds. Thousands, billions of compounds are there. That means, excepting these elements, all other elements are always trying to combine with other atoms. So, what should be the reason? What should be the reason that why the other atoms are trying to combine? Because they have not this one, not this one. They are not stable. Because they are not stable. Why they are not stable? Because they don't have the stable electronic configuration. Whether we know these elements are stable because of this, and others are reacting. Why? Because they don't have this one. Okay, so almost all other elements are having a less than the NS2 NP6 configuration called octet. Okay, so less than the octet. So because the elements are not having this stable octet, so they are combining with other elements, and by this combination, so there is a new thing formed called the chemical bond. Okay. So today's topic is what? Chemical bonding. Is what? Chemical bonding. So in this chapter we will discuss what is a chemical bond. So already we discussed why that is combined, different types of chemical bonds and different aspects of the bonding in the coming classes. Okay, clear? So what is a chemical bond then? A chemical bond is a force of attraction that binds the constituent atoms within a molecule. If we consider H2, okay, so here you see between these two atoms, so there is a force of attraction that attracts this shared pair of electron. This is called what? The chemical bond. We have NaCl. We have NaCl. So here we have the Na plus and Cl minus, and there is a force of attraction between these two called what? A chemical bond. If you consider, suppose we have the NH4 plus here. So you will see between the N and H there is a force of attraction. This is attraction. This is attraction. Now so this is also a force of attraction. This one also called what? A chemical bond. Okay. And if I take suppose HF, okay. So this HF is a molecule. Okay. This HF is a molecule. Okay. Minus plus. Now there is a force of attraction between this F and this H. This is also a chemical bond. Okay. Similarly, several molecules are types of molecules are there, and there is a force between the molecule and the molecule. That is called Van der Waals force. That's also a chemical bond. And when we have the metals like sodium, potassium, like iron, copper, silver, gold. So in the metals also there is a force of attraction between the electrons and the nucleus. That is called metallic bond. So we have different kind of force of attraction between the ions or between the atoms or between the molecules. And these force of attractions are binding these species. So those forces which are binding the constituent particles in a molecule is called what? A chemical bond. And this binding force may be between the iron and iron. This case one. This is your force between iron and iron. Okay, it's a chemical bond, and because the force is between the ions, it's called what? Ionic bond. Okay, or this is what the electrostatic force of attraction. Similarly, the force of attraction, okay, there are many between the atoms. See, this is the electron pair, and this electron pair is getting shared by these two atoms. So this is called what? A covalent bond. And you see, this you see here the nitrogen atom is having a bond here. Again, in this nitrogen atom is giving a electron pair to this hydrogen ion, H plus ion. This is called what? A coordinate bond. This is called what? A coordinate bond. This is called what? A covalent bond. This is called what? An ionic bond. And this is HF molecule, this is HF molecule. Now between these molecules, this F of this molecule and H of this molecule, there is a force of attraction. This is called what? A hydrogen bond. Okay. Similarly, when we consider a metal, in the metal, the metals are having very low value of ionization energy. The electrons can go out from the valence shell, and they are forming a mobile electrons cloud, leaving behind the positive nucleus. The positive nucleus is called the kernel, and the mobile electrons are the negative charges. So there is a force of attraction between the positive nucleus and the mobile electron. That is called what? A metallic bond. Okay. Similarly, if you consider the water molecules, we have hand bonding. Okay. And between also different kind of molecules, there is a simple Van der Waals force of attraction, that is called molecular forces, or you can say the Van der Waals bond. Okay. So we have bonds like ionic bond, covalent bond, coordinate bond. Besides these, also we have hydrogen bond, we have metallic bond, we have Van der Waals bond. Okay. See, the purpose of the chemical bond, chemical combination, is to acquire the stable configuration of the nearest noble gas, helium, neon, argon, krypton, and xenon. Okay, all the atoms are trying to have a stable electronic configuration of the nearest noble gas, helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon. For this purpose, either they are giving electron, or they are taking electron, or they are sharing electron with other atoms. So when they are losing or gaining or sharing electron with other atoms, a simple force of attraction is arising between these two atoms, and this force is called the chemical bond. Okay. And depending upon whether the elements or atoms are sharing or losing or gaining electrons, we are having the different kind of bonds. Ionic bond, covalent bond, coordinate bond. The ionic bond is formed by the complete transfer of electron from one atom to other atom. Okay. And covalent bond is what? With the bond formed or it is the force of attraction that attracts a shared pair of electron between the two atoms. So this is a bond formed by the sharing of electron between the participating atoms. Here see, if I take the example here, ionic bond NaCl, you see, Na will be discussed briefly later on. Okay, if I have Na, okay, and Cl. So Na plus and Cl minus. Here you see Na is giving electron, Cl minus is here taking electron. Okay. Now there is a bond between Na plus and Cl minus. And if you take H2, okay, So here this electron pair is getting shared, okay, and upon this shared pair of electrons, so both the atoms are having the equal rights, okay. This is called what? Covalent bond. And here you see in NaCl we have Na 11, okay, 281, 281, okay, and chlorine Cl 17, 287. So here you see Na is having one extra electron from the stable octet 282, and chlorine is having what? 287, that means one short of electron from the stable octet. Okay, so here the Na is giving one electron, Na is giving what? Electron. Na plus electron. Okay, now this is taken by what? Cl. So Cl plus electron what? Cl minus. Now between Na plus and Cl minus, we have what? A force of attraction. This is called what? Ionic bond NaCl. By doing this, the Na becomes what? Na becomes Na plus, that is what? It is giving one electron, it gives what? Na plus what? 28. 28 is what? It is a stable electronic composition of the noble gas neon. Similarly, Cl becomes what? Cl 18 is what? 288. So Cl becomes part of the stable composition of the nearest noble gas argon. So sodium by giving electron becomes the stable composition of the nearest noble gas neon 282 Na plus, and again chlorine by taking the electrons from the sodium becomes 288 stable composition of the nearest noble gas argon. Okay. Now the Na plus and Cl minus, there is a force of attraction. This is called what? Ionic bond, and this force is called what? The electrostatic force of attraction. Clear? Now, so here the chemical bonds are formed by the complete transfer of electron from one atom to other. The atom which gives electron becomes positive charge, the atom which takes electron becomes negative charge, and between the positive and negative charge there is a force of attraction called the ionic bond. Now here you see this covalent bond. See here, if I take hydrogen, or if we have only one electron, H minus 1. So remember, if we have only one cell and that cell contains 2 electron, then that is called stable doublet. The atom becomes stable, because here hydrogen we have only one cell, so we have one electron. So this is another sort of electron from the stable octet. Now if I have the another hydrogen, again we have one electron. So this hydrogen, suppose Ha is having one sort of electron, this is also having one sort of electron from the stable octet, stable doublet. Now if this will give its electron to this one, it becomes H plus. It is not having a electron, it becomes 2, but this becomes 0. So they what they are doing? They are just sharing the electron pair between these two. Okay, and this shared pair of electrons now become the common property of both these hydrogens. Okay, and the force of attraction occurs which attracts this electron pair towards each one, this one and also this one. This is called part of the covalent bond. Okay, you can take suppose Cl2, Cl, okay, Cl, okay. Now, so this is the shared pair of electron. Okay, so within the Cl and Cl we have what? A single bond. okay, called the covalent bond. So the chemical bond which is formed by the mutual sharing of electron between the participating atoms is known as the what? Covalent bond. And this covalent bond can be what? Between two atoms, between two similar atoms, and also it can be between two dissimilar atoms. Okay. So if only one electron pair is shared, this one you see, okay, this is called what? The single covalent bond. Okay. If I take oxygen, suppose oxygen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, oxygen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So this electron pair and this is the electron pair 1, 2. This is called what? The double covalent bond. Okay. Now let take N2. We what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So we have what would be 3 electron pairs are shared. Called what? The triple covalent bond. So depending upon the number of electron pairs shared, the covalent bond can be single, double or triple. Okay. And also you can take the example of suppose heteroatomic molecules. So if you have HCl, it is called what? HCl. Between two different atoms. Okay. Now see, if I think about how to do covalent bond, okay. Suppose you see N, H, H, H. We have NH3 here, NH3. Nitrogen you know 2, 5. So 5 electrons are there in the outermost orbit. Already 3 covalent bonds are formed between the 3 hydrogen atoms in the ammonia molecule. What we have another pair of electron is present here in the nitrogen atom. This is called lone pair of electron. See 2, 4, 6, 8. Now its octet is fulfilled. Okay. But if I have a H plus here, H plus, H plus is now having no electron. Okay. It requires 2 electrons to have this double. Okay. Now what this nitrogen atom is doing? It is giving us a electron pair. That's it. So at a time this pair of electrons is being donated to this H plus atom. So that the H plus is having the stable doublet. Okay. So after giving the electron, the actually the nitrogen atom first of all giving us one electron to this H plus. Then after this electron pair is getting shared. This is called what? A coordinate bond, or called what? Dative bond. The bond where at a time a pair of electrons is getting shared is called what? Dative bond or coordinate bond. And here you see the atom which donates the electron, it becomes the donor. This is called what? The donor. This is called what? The acceptor. Okay. And this you can write like this: N, H, 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 H plus. It's called what? NH4 plus. So here this bond is the coordinate bond. Okay. So pair of electrons is getting shared. Okay, so these are about the different types of chemical bonds where actually the electrons are involved in transferring, sharing and shedding here. But these three are the important types of chemical bonds. But besides these three, also we have some other kind of bond, physical. These are called the physical bonds. Okay, like hydrogen bond, metallic bond, and van der Waals bond. Okay, so regarding this kind of bonds, we will discuss briefly later on. Okay, so I have given you an example again. Already I have given you an example. If HF is a molecule, you see, HF and HF, two molecules are there. Okay, so this is a this can be negative, this can be positive, this can be not positive, this can be negative. Now between this negative and positive, there is a short force of attraction. This is called what? The hydrogen bond. But regarding this hydrogen bond, its conditions, its characteristics, its consequences, we will discuss briefly later on. Okay, right? So now we will discuss one by one. Now see, if we think about this ionic bond again, ionic bond, already we discussed the ionic bonds are formed by the complete transfer of electrons from one atom to other. So we have already taken the example NaCl. So Na11, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, okay, 3so1. Okay. Now Na. So we have to remove one electron from the Na to get the Na plus. If you want to make an ionic bond, we have to create a positive charge, and for creating the positive charge, we need the ionization energy. So the ease of formation of ionic bond will depend upon what? The ease with which the atom is donating the electron, and who can donate easily? If that is having a lower value of ionization energy. So one of the conditions for the better formation of ionic bond is what? The low value of ionization energy. The metal must have the low value of ionization energy so that it can lose the electron easily. Okay. So Na plus ionization energy I is what? Na plus electron. So we can write what? Low value of ionization energy. Okay, ionic bonds conditions. Okay, low value of ionization energy. Again, if you take Cl 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus electron. Now when proton is taking electron, it is getting what? Cl minus plus, it is giving what? Electron affinity. Okay. So the electron affinity of the atom must be high enough. That means what? A large amount of energy will be released so that the molecule will become stable. Okay. So for the better formation of ionic compound, we require what? A higher value of electron affinity. Okay. Again, when Na plus and Cl minus are formed, now the Na plus and Cl minus will attract each other. Now these oppositely charged ions, the Na plus and Cl minus ion will arrange themselves in a definite regular geometrical manner, so that a crystal lattice will be formed. Okay, and during this formation of the crystal lattice, again a large amount of energy will be released. That is called what? Lattice energy. So more the energy released, more is the stability of the atom. Remember always. Okay, so more the amount of energy released, more will be the stability of the molecule. So if the lattice energy is more, that means what? Much amount of energy being released, hence the molecule is stable. So the stability of the ionic compound depends upon the lattice energy. Okay. So high lattice energy. Okay. Again, the force of attraction between this Na plus and Cl minus depends upon the quantity of the charge and the distance between the charges. Less is the distance between the charges, more is the amount of charge, more will be the electrostatic force of attraction among the ions, and hence stronger will be the ionic compound or ionic bond. Okay. So the strength of the ionic bond depends upon what? The distance between the charges and the quantity of charges. So the better formation of the ionic bond will require what? Small size of the ion and large quantity of charge on the ion. Okay. So small size of ions and large quantity of charge on the ions. Okay. So these are the conditions for the better formation of the ionic compound. Okay. Small size of the ions, large quantity of the charge, high value of ion energy, okay, low value of ion energy, high value of electron affinity, and high value of lattice energy. So from this one thing we conclude that whenever a chemical bond is formed, there is a net decrease of energy. Okay, and the formation of the chemical bond is always attained by a net decrease of energy. So we can say a chemical bond is an exothermic process where energy is released. And see, one thing also we have to remember that whenever these atoms are going to combine to form a chemical bond, now all atoms are combining to form the bond. Whenever two atoms come close to each other, two different kind of interactions are occurring. One is what? One is the attractive force between the electron of the one and equals of the other. And also what? The repulsive force between the electron of both and equals of both. However, if the net force is attractive, then only the atoms combine. Okay. So for the formation of the chemical bond, the net force must be attractive. Then after we will decide whether it is in an ionic manner or covalent manner or any other manner. Okay. So from this discussion we conclude that what? Always there is a net decrease of energy, and always the formation of chemical bond is accompanied by the net attractive forces. You see these Na plus and Cl minus when they are attractive. Okay. So now, then what will be the characteristics of this ionic compounds? Okay, because you see these ionic compounds characteristics. Ionic compound. So already we discussed that the ionic bonds are formed by the net attractive force between the positive and the negative ions. So because in the ionic compound we have the strong electrostatic force of attraction between the ions, So normally the ionic compounds are strong. Okay, they are hard. These are hard, rigid. And in the ionic compounds, the constituent particles are orderly arranged. So we have what? A definite regular geometry. Definite regular geometry. Okay, definite regular geometry we have. Okay, because the ions are connected to each other with strong force of attraction. So we need a high temperature to melt the ion, to separate the ions. Okay, so high melting point. And one important thing for the ionic compounds are bad conductor at the solid state, because the opposite charged ions are strongly attracted with each other. Okay, so they cannot conduct electricity. Okay, so bad conductor in solid state. However, if the ionic compounds are melted or they are putting in aqueous solution, then they can conduct electricity. Okay, however, but conducts in what? In molten state or in aqueous solution. So ionic compounds are bad conductor of electricity in the solid state. However, they can conduct electricity in the molten state or in the aqueous solution. Okay. So these are about the conditions of the ionic compound and characteristics of ionic compounds. Okay, and how the ionic compounds are formed. In the next class, we will discuss about covalent bond. Again, we will be discuss briefly about the covalent bond. Okay, and the theories of covalent bond. Okay. So already we know about the covalent bond. We will discuss about the theories of the covalent bonds. So how the covalent bonds are formed actually. Okay. Thank you.